Are we good? Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jim Reichman, and I'm the chair of the board of directors of the Creston District Credit Union. And it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the 68th annual general meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. This is the first time that we are conducting our meeting digitally using Zoom. It is our hope that more of our membership will join us this evening from the comfort of their home. This is a safe way to conduct ourselves in larger groups during these trying times. We will be moving fairly quickly through our agenda this evening. The routine motions that we have this evening have been moved and seconded by a member of the board in order to simplify the use of our technology. We will have a slide for you to view for each of the motions. There will be time, 30 seconds after each motion, that you can enter your comments or question in the chat. We have some guests this evening, and I would like to introduce them. Pardon me. James Stewart of Grant Thornton, LLP. Ashley Reguero of Grant Thornton, LLP. Karen Cron, BCFSA, British Columbia Financial Services Authority. And Lauren Mann of Mann and Vanderhyde Notaries Public. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce to you your board of directors. Vice President Rob Simpson, Secretary Carrie Czar, Director Carol Materi, Director Don Tarrant, Director Don Lowe, Director Rick Menkello, and myself, Jim Reichman, your president. So this is your committee structure for 2019, your executive committee, conduct review committee, audit and risk committee, nominating committee, investment and loan committee, governance and HR committee, and credit committee. And all of your committees, they do an absolute incredible job, and I thank them very much. Ascertainment of quorum. Attendance of members, quorum requirement this evening is 35. Tonight's attendance is 52 members, 2 guests, and we have a quorum. Thank you. Yay. Rules of order for a virtual meeting. The annual general meeting will be conducted in accordance with the electronic attendance at credit union meetings COVID-19. Order of the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General, Ministerial Order number M138, and to the extent not inconsistent therewith, the Credit Union Incorporation Act, the rules of the Creston District Credit Union, and Robert's Rules of Order. The meeting shall be conducted electronically via Zoom. The meeting will be facilitated by a meeting coordinator under the direction of the chairperson, and that is Darlene Nguyen. Voting will be conducted electronically by online polling. Once the meeting is called to order, meeting participants will be kept on mute. Participants wishing to comment or have a question on a motion will enter their comment or question in the chat room window and will be answered accordingly. Each electronically registered member shall be entitled to 1 vote. After a motion is put forward for a vote and the online poll is presented electronically, the member will have 30 seconds to complete and submit the online poll. After a vote is taken, a declaration of the meeting coordinator that is a motion or a resolution has been carried by the requisite majority shall be conclusive. No person shall record the proceedings of the meeting by use without the permission of the chairperson or the consent of the meeting. We are required by statute to hold an annual general meeting, AGM, each year. The limitations imposed on public gatherings by our public health officials due to COVID-19 necessitate that we hold this year's AGM electronically. Meeting electronically using Zoom is not ideal, but is obviously somewhat limiting compared to our normal face-to-face AGM. Our intent is to conduct the required business as simply as possible. If you have any questions regarding the meeting or CDCU business that you would like to further discuss, please contact Darlene Wynn at the credit union and she will direct your question to the appropriate person for a response. CDCU Board of Directors. Okay, so motion is rules of order. To accept the rules of order for the October 22nd, 2020 Creston and District Credit Union Annual General Meeting. This is moved by Carrie Czar, seconded by Don Tarrant. Discussion. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. Okay, so please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. Okay. So that motion has been carried. Thank you. So our agenda this evening, call to order, introduction of guests and directors, ascertainment of the quorum, rules of order, adoption of the agenda, appointment of our parliamentarian, approval of the 2019 AGM minutes, President's report, CEO's report, auditor's report, financial statement presentation, nominating committee report, appointment of the auditor, good and welfare, presentation of recognition awards, door prize, draw, and the adjournment. So the motion on the floor is to accept the agenda as presented for the October 22nd, 2020 Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting. If there are any additions to the agenda, please enter them in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds to do that. Okay, so now we're going to take a vote. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond.
Okay.
Sorry, Darlene. Go ahead. Okay. So that motion is, carried. Appointment of parliamentarian. Mr. Lauren Mann, again, thank you for your help this evening, of Mann and Vanderheid, Notaries Public of Creston. This meeting will be following Robert's Rules of Order. So the 2019 67th Annual General Meeting minutes, Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting, April 25th, 2019 at the Creston District Community Complex. These minutes will be read by Carrie Czar, Board of Directors, our Secretary. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting, Thursday, April 25th, 2019, Creston District Community Complex, Creston, BC. Call to order. The 67th Annual General Meeting of the Creston District Credit Union was called to order by President Don Tarrant. Introductions. The President introduced the head table. Attendance report. Secretary Jim Reichman announced the attendance for the evening was 83 members and 2 guests, for a total of 85. The President declared a quorum exists and the meeting duly constituted. Agenda. It was upon motion resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented. Moved, seconded, carried. Parliamentarian. President Don Tarrant appointed Lauren Mann as parliamentarian. Approval of minutes. Secretary Jim Reichman read the minutes of the 66th Annual General Meeting. It was upon motion resolved that the minutes of the 66th Annual Meeting be adopted as read. Moved, seconded, carried. Business arising out of the minutes. There was no business arising out of the minutes. President's report. Don Tarrant presented the President's report. It was upon motion resolved that the President's report be adopted as presented. Moved, seconded, carried. Don Lowe addressed the membership with an update on the amalgamation vote, the reasons affecting their vote to not move forward with the amalgamation, as well as emphasizing the strength of Creston District Credit Union moving forward as an independent credit union. He also addressed the retirement of longtime CEO Jim Miller in June of 2018, the decision to have Lawrence McCordoff and Kim Appleton act as interim co-CEOs, as well as the CEO search to fill the CEO position after the final vote for the amalgamation had been made. After hiring a specialized company to hunt for a qualified CEO, dozens of applications scrutinized and multiple interviews completed, along with the help of the board, a new CEO was announced. Lawrence McCordoff, with his position effective immediately. CEO's report. Lawrence McCordoff presented the Chief Executive Officer's report. It was upon motion resolved that the Chief Executive Officer's report be adopted as presented. Moved, seconded, carried. Auditor's report. Aaron Carr of Carr & Associates presented the auditor's report. It was upon motion resolved that the auditor's report be adopted as presented. Moved, seconded, carried. Financial statements. Aaron Carr presented the financial statements in the annual report explaining the overall standing of Creston District Credit Union as at December 31st, 2018. It was upon motion resolved that the financial statements be adopted as presented. Moved, seconded, carried. Nominating committee report. Carol Materi gave the nominating committee report stating the terms of current directors Don Lowe and Rob Simpson would expire this year. The nominating committee received notification from both current directors of their intention to seek re-election. A request for nominations was sent out with the AGM notices in January 2018. No nominations were received, therefore Don Lowe and Rob Simpson were declared elected by acclamation. Appointment of auditor. President Don Tarrant recommended that Carr & Associates be appointed as auditors for the ensuing year and the directors be empowered to fix the audit fees. It was upon motion resolved that Carr & Associates be appointed as auditors. Moved, seconded, carried. Unfinished business, none. Good and welfare. Kim Appleton presented Director Don Lowe with a 5-year award, Director Don Tarrant with a 10-year award, staff member Patty McGinnis with a 40-year award, and flowers. The door prize draws were won by Vera Bunt, $200, Jan Zakowski, $300, and Jerry Meyer, $500. Adjournment. There being no further business at 7:57 p.m., the President declared the meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. So the motion of the 2019 CDCU Annual General Minutes meeting, moved by Don Lowe, second by Carol Materi. Is there any discussion arising from this motion? Please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds to do that. Okay, seeing none, we will now please make your vote or cast your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond to that motion. And it looks like that motion is carried. Thank you. So now I would like to do your President's report, and I thank you very much. So 2019 represents 68 years of successful business for the credit union. This year has been a year of positive changes. The board was very pleased and honored to announce Mr. Lawrence McCordoff as a successful candidate for a CEO position at our AGM in April of 2019. One of the consistent themes over the past year has been human resource changes. Lawrence was tasked with restructuring our accounting function, replacing his own former position serving business members and enhancing our information technology systems. In addition, we saw 100 years of combined staff experience retire in 2019. And management was tasked with training and cross-training existing staff in various roles. The changes we have been through in 2019 were vast, yet service levels to the membership remain relatively seamless during all of this transition. This is a testament to the effort of our new CEO, his management team, and our dedicated staff. The board of directors transitioned in 2019. Larry Nowak resigned after serving on the board for 2 years in May of 2019. We are grateful to Larry for his contribution and service. In June 2019, Rick Minichello was appointed to the board and has been serving since. We welcome Rick to our board and look forward to his contribution going forward. Your board has been very active in 2019. Our decision to remain an independent credit union in 2018 was significant, and with the hiring of our new CEO, we have been enhancing reporting functions and reviewing policies as changes in the industry are evolving rapidly. We work closely with regulators to ensure that we are following best practices and that we are confident that our credit union can remain independent for as long as we choose to. Your credit union has once again had a very successful financial year. The board of directors has declared patronage and dividends for the fiscal year 2019 to be distributed to our members as 4% interest and patronage rebate on loans and deposits, along with 10% rebate on service charges paid, the 7% dividend on Class C equity shares, Dividends and interest patronage paid to the members amounted to $455,910. The board is also pleased to announce that during the past year, your credit union has contributed via donations and promotions $53,354 to various groups and organizations in the Creston Valley. Each year, the credit union gives two $2,500 bursaries to students in our local high school, Prince Charles Secondary School, to assist them in continuing on to higher education. The board strongly believes our youth is our future and we fully support them. It is great to be able to give back to our community and the people who have supported us. Our subsidiaries contributed $586,068 to our overall income of $1,222,710 this year, which is substantial. Growth Financial, our insurance services and wealth management subsidiary of which we own 50%, was the significant contributor. We also engaged a valuation review of one of our subsidiary properties. This review, among smaller items which date back to 2017 year end, ultimately required a write-down of $575,925, as noted in note 25 of our financial statements. This write-down impacted retained earnings to the 2017 year end and is why we restated the prior period. As part of our information technology IT strategy, we hired F12, an information technology service provider. They specialize in providing network and cybersecurity solutions. We converted in the fall and the transition has been successful. This has provided significant support to our staff for network solutions and the benefit of regular review and equipment replacement as needed. Looking ahead, we are excited to embark on the next phase of the IT transition, which is moving ahead with digital banking. In 2020, we will begin a project to change our website, our online banking platform, and our mobile application. We are looking forward to providing our members with this new digital platform. As I write this, in the spring of 2020, we are facing the COVID-19 pandemic. This has consumed the activities and thoughts of our board, management, staff, and our membership. As we focus on safety and health of all concerned, we thank everyone for their support and their cooperation as we move through this period of uncertainty. Our primary focus is on health and safety and being in the moment to help everyone get through this. As a result of this, we expect some delays in our project plans, but they will restart once we are able. We look forward to serving our members in 2020. A sincere thank you to the management, staff, the board of directors, and our faithful membership, whose support allows us to remain the owners of a strong, independent financial institution. So, motion on the President's report to accept the minutes of the 2019 Creston District Credit Union annual. Sorry, wrong one. To approve. Oh, on this page here. The President's report. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comments or questions in the chat now.
Okay, Jim, so I have a question from Susan Seneshin. She's wondering if there's a slide for this report.
Sorry.
Oh, it's in the, our annual report, my report, and that's available at the credit union.
I also have a question from Daniel Sexor.
Yeah.
He's curious as to the details of the digital expansion, login security, etc. Is there any more information available on this?
It's new right now, and we'll provide, and as we get into the details, we'll be able to provide that information as we get more into it.
Okay.
So at this point in time, not as much as we'd like.
Okay. Okay. So any more discussion? So seeing no more discussion, please make your vote on this motion. You have 30 seconds to respond.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That motion is carried. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Lawrence McCordoff, our CEO. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. On behalf of management and staff, I'm pleased to present this report to our membership for the year ended December 31st, 2019. As your new CEO, I'm grateful for the opportunity that the board of directors has given me, and I look forward to the opportunities and challenges we face today and into the future. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by management and staff who've shown great support for our plans to move ahead. Our credit union continues to experience significant change. In 2019, we saw 3 long-term staff retire. Patty McInnes retired after 40 years, Winona Morris retired after 33 years, and Heather Reamer retired after 30 years. These 3 people spent the better part of their working lives helping the credit union serve its members, and they did so with great loyalty and care. We are grateful for their part in making this a great place to be, and we wish them well in their retirement. We restructured our accounting function in 2019. We hired Shereen Clausen, CPA, CA, and Shereen has been doing great work for us this year. We also hired Farah Boychuk as our new commercial account manager. Farah has been doing great work as she makes the role her own. As part of our IT strategy, we hired F12, an IT services company, to provide network and cybersecurity solutions, which enhanced our security protocols, thus making the way we process information safer and more secure for our members. They also provided our team 24/7 service to manage network issues, and they provided equipment replacement solutions. Their expertise has been an important step in allowing the credit union to manage the challenges we face today in a technical and fast-paced environment. Conversion to F12 took place in the 3rd quarter of 2019, and we look forward to a long and beneficial relationship. Our former auditors, Carr & Associates, resigned in September of 2019. We wish to thank Erin Carr and her team for their many years of service to us. We wish them well in the future. To replace Erin and her team, we hired Grant Thornton LLC in November 2019, and they performed the audit and present the financial statements in this report. We got to know their team on their first audit, and we appreciate their expertise and look forward to working with them moving forward. Our financial results for 2019 continue to be strong. We focused our efforts on managing asset mix. This means we leverage our strong liquidity and capital position to focus on increasing our loan portfolio, while offsetting lower revenues in our investment portfolio as interest rates began declining during the latter half of 2019. This approach was successful as we organically increased our loans by 8.6%, and we maintained our financial margin with an increase of 1.5% year over year. In a decreasing rate environment, this is a favorable outcome. Earnings before taxes increased 20% in 2019. This was assisted by a change in asset mix, strong subsidiary revenue, and foreign exchange income. This resulted in net income of $1.2 million, an increase of 36% year over year. This supported the board's decision to issue $456,000 in dividends and patronage back to members. In 2019, we also reported a restatement of prior year financial statements. The prior year adjustment was a reduction in the value of one of our subsidiary properties relating to the year-end 2017. The write-down was $575,000 and impacted retained earnings to the 2017 year-end, which was then carried forward to 2019. Please refer to note 25 of our consolidated financial statements for an explanation of the restatement. Our consolidated financial statements can be found on our website. The Creston Valley was very active in 2019 with a robust economy and strong real estate market. Economic activity remains steady along with new entrants to the valley. This supports confidence, and we hope to participate in and support economic activity in the Creston Valley and surrounding areas. Our membership is our guide, and we continue to have faith in them and our community for a prosperous future. Our plan is to enhance our delivery channels in 2020 and beyond. We will modernize our website, then our online banking site, and finally our mobile application. This is a big project and will likely extend well into 2021. When I wrote this report in the summer, we were experiencing COVID-19 along with the rest of humanity. We continue to deal with COVID-19 every day. While we hope for an end to this very soon, we focus on what is in our control. Some of our plans for 2020 were delayed, and we will adjust as needed. The priority is on safety and health of our members, our staff, and good health of the larger community. We wish everyone well as we work through this and look forward to better days ahead. I would like to thank management and staff for their support, effort, and commitment to service. I thank our board of directors for their confidence, direction, and commitment to the community, but most of all, thank you to our members for your trust and continued support. That's the end of my report. Jim, back to you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thanks for everything that you do for us. So the motion is to approve the CEO's report for the CDCU 2020 Annual General Meeting. This was moved by Carrie Czar, second by Rick Minicello. If there is any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Okay. So the motion, please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. Okay, auditors report. Grant Thornton, James Stewart, CPACA Principal, and Ashley Regaro, CPACA, and the Senior Manager. We're just going to invite them into our meeting. That might take just a moment.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me okay there?
Okay.
Excellent. Sound check worked. So good evening, everybody. I am James Stewart, and I'm here representing Grant Thornton as external auditors for Creston Credit Union. So my next couple slides, I will be presenting financial information based on the summary financial statements, which are derived from the full financial statements. And as I believe Lawrence mentioned, a copy of those are available on the website of the credit union. So with our independent auditor's report, happy to announce that we have issued an unqualified or clean audit opinion. We have also issued a clean audit opinion on the full financial statements in our report, which was also dated on March 24th, 2020. So moving on to the financial statements, I'll touch on some of the financial highlights for the year, some of which have already been touched on by Lawrence and Jim in their respective reports. But starting with the statement of financial position, or commonly referred to the balance sheet. This is rewinding way back to December 31, 2019, and is just a snapshot of the financial position of the credit union as at that date. So starting on the asset side, cash and investments are down a combined $9.6 million at December 31st. The change here is kind of explained by two categories primarily. First is the loan portfolio. There were additional $6.5 million of loans sent out during the year. The split between the new loans was pretty even between the commercial and personal loan portfolios. However, the $3.6 million increase in the commercial accounts represents about 20% growth in the commercial portfolio year over year. And overall, as Lawrence alluded to, the total loan portfolio grew by about 8.6% from the prior year levels. The other factor that causes the significant decrease in cash and investments is the member deposits, which do show up as a liability for the credit union. So member deposits basically make up the demand deposits, so the member checking and saving accounts, TFSAs, and other similar accounts. So those are down about $4.3 million. Most of the categories did hold the line fairly steady, other than the demand, so the checking and savings accounts, which saw a majority of the decrease, and I believe the tax-free accounts actually had an increase over the prior year. The other items on the balance sheet or statement of financial position did remain fairly constant. Income taxes recoverable, that's just showing the credit union is receiving a tax refund this year as opposed to having to pay in the prior year. That's just a function of the installments made based on the estimated taxes. So at the end of the day, the total assets at December 31st, 2019 are $144,267,000. That's down about $147,525 from the 2018 figures, but it is encouraging to see the growth in the loan portfolio, and that's a fairly substantial increase year over year. On the deposits, on the liability side, sorry, the deposits do make up the lion's share of the liabilities of the credit union. The other payables and other liabilities are things such as unpaid invoices at December 31st, payroll accruals, and other similar liabilities of the credit union. Those are generally pretty constant year over year. So total liabilities also did increase year over year. So 122 million down from 126 million dollars. So that's a decrease of total liabilities of about 4.5 million compared to a decrease in assets of excuse me, 3.2 million. So at the end of the day, the members' equity in the credit union has increased by about $1.2 million. So that's the retained earnings, which is the cumulative income earned by the credit union that has not been distributed out. That's being reinvested into the growth of the credit union, and as well as the member shares. So moving on to the next slide, which should have the statement of earnings. The first line item is financial income. Now, financial income consists of two items. The first being the interest income earned on the loan portfolio, and the other is the investment income earned on the cash and investments held by the credit union. So of that $4.1 million, the loan income represents about $2.7 million of that total. That figure is up $265,000 over the prior year, an increase of about 10.7%. And on the other hand, the investment income did drop about $108,000 year over year. But again, that correlates to the decrease in the total cash and investments on the book. The financial expense line item consists of interest paid on deposits and any provisions for loan losses. This category did see an increase of $108,000. So while the total deposits did decrease compared to the prior year, we also did see a bit of a shift in the interest rate environment where rates were starting to creep up higher. Next line item, we have other income, excuse me, of $1.4 million. So this consists of $586,000 of income representing the Creston Credit Union's share of income from its subsidiaries. As previously mentioned, this is primarily from Growth Financial Corporation. And then the remaining $903,000 in other income includes a variety of items such as account service fees, foreign exchange, rental income, and other miscellaneous items. Of note, the 2019 fiscal year saw a $350,000 swing in the positive direction on the foreign exchange gain loss account. Moving on to the operating expenses, year over year, this total operating expenses increased by about $255,000. Some of the categories that make up this difference are, first, the distributions to members are up about $18,000 year over year. That's the year-end patronage and dividends paid out. Professional fees have increased about $44,000. This is primarily due to responding to issues raised during a review by the credit union's regulators, including accounting issues related to the investment property. Wages and benefits are up about $168,000, or an increase of 3% over the prior year. This is really just a combination of changes in staffing levels, regular staff increases, as well as the new employer health tax that came into effect for the 2019 tax year, or 2019 year. And finally, the service charge line item is up about $57,000, and that relates primarily to interest charged on the credit union's operating account with Central One, particularly with the US dollar line of credit. So once everything shakes out, we do end up with net earnings for the year of $1.22 million, and that is up fairly substantially from the prior year of $894,000. The next section here, we have the statement of changes in members' equity. This just shows that the net earnings earned by the year just are reinvested back into the credit union after taxes are paid and the distributions back to the members. As noted, we did have a correction or restatement of prior years, and that goes back to the 2017 tax year related to the investment property held by the credit union. Basically, the amount the property was recorded on the credit union's books, the carrying value recorded on the books was higher than the fair market value based on some recent appraisals. Market appraisals were obtained last fall, I believe around November, December, with related appraisals for the 2018 and 2017 years, just so that we could determine the adjustment that was needed to the comparative financial statements to flow the number all the way through up to the end of December 2019. And then finally, the other item on this statement of changes in members' equity just shows the net changes in member share during the year. So that's any new shares issued less the redemptions of any shares throughout the year. And finally, the last item I was going to touch on was just the statement of cash flows. The cash flows in this summarized statement are at a very high level, but it's essentially broken down into three categories. We have operating activities, financing, and investing. So operating activities are really the cash flows from the day-to-day operations of the credit union. So again, it shows a $10 million decrease. And as I mentioned, that's primarily related to new loans being issued, over $6 million worth, as well as a decrease in the deposits on hand at December 31st, 2019. Just want to note that while those two items do account for a cash decrease in the 2019 year, the new loans put on the books will drive up that financial income number, generating positive cash flows in the future. And as well as if the deposit number continues to decrease, that should also reduce the financial expense being paid out on the income as well. So both those would have a positive impact on the financial margin on a go-forward basis and create positive cash flows. The financing line item shows a decrease of $27,000. As I mentioned, that's just the net redemption of member shares throughout the year. And finally, the investing activity shows an increase to cash of $6.1 million. That's primarily just due to some investments came due, whether it be term deposits or similar type investments. As they come due, they're converted into cash. So it comes out of the investment line item into the cash line item. So it creates positive cash flows. And that's offset by about $41,000 of capital purchases during the year, which were some new furniture and fixtures that were purchased. So all said, at the end of the day, the net cash position of the credit union did decrease by $4.1 million to the end of the year, showing a closing cash and a cash equivalents position of $924,000. But that being said, the credit union does have very strong liquidity position with surplus funds sitting in investments where they're earning a higher rate of return. So that being said, that is the end of my formal report here. So I will pause for any questions, and if none, I will turn it back to Jim.
Okay. So the motion. Yeah. Thanks, James. So the motion is to approve the auditor's report for December 31st, 2019, presented at the October 22nd, 2020 Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting. Moved by Don Tarrant, second by Rick Minicello. Is there any discussion arising from this motion? Please enter your comment or questions in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Okay, so please make your vote on this motion. To the poll on your screen, you will have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. Thank you. So the 2019 financial statements, to view the full Creston District Credit Union 2019 consolidated financial statements and annual report, please visit our website at cdcu.com and visit the tab About Us and then Corporate Reports. If you have any questions or if you cannot view any or all of the reports, please contact us tomorrow at the branch. So the motion for the 2019 financial statements to approve the 2019 financial statements for December 31st, 2019, presented at the October 22nd, 2020 Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting. This was moved by Don Lowe, seconded by Don Tarrant. Discussion. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Okay, so please make your vote on this motion. In the poll on your screen, you will have 30 seconds to vote, please. And that motion is carried. So at this time, I'd like to call on the nominating committee report. The nominating committee report is for 2019. It's presented by Carol Materi. Hey, Carol.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. As the 2019 chairperson of the nominating committee, I would like to acknowledge my fellow directors, Don Tarrant, Rob Simpson, Don Lowe, and Larry Nowak, for serving on this committee with me. The terms for directors, Jim Reichman and Carrie Czar, expired at the end of April 2020. Larry Nowak resigned due to his move back to Alberta. The nominating committee accepted the nominations for Jim and Carrie to seek re-election. In keeping with the rules of our credit union, the notice of director nominations was mailed to the membership on the 20th of January 2020. The closing date for those nominations was the 21st of February 2020. Prior to this date, the only nomination received was from Rick Menkello. As we had only 3 vacancies to fill, no election was required. Therefore, I am pleased to declare that Jim Reichman, Carrie Czar, and Rick Menkello are elected by acclamation. Congratulations to all of you.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Carol. Appointment of the auditor, Grant Thornton. So the motion is for the appointment of the auditor to approve the appointment of the auditors, Grant Thornton LLP, as auditor for the Creston and District Credit Union's consolidated financial statements for 2020, and the board of directors be empowered to fix the audit fees. This was moved by Carol Materi, second by Rick Menkello. Is there any discussion from this motion? If there is, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Okay, so please make your vote on this motion to the poll on the screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. Getting ahead of Darlene, sorry. That is carried, thank you. So this time I'd like to call on Lawrence for his good and welfare recognition awards to his staff as well as our director.
Thanks again, Jim. So what we usually do is, in good and welfare, we recognize employees and directors who have been with us for various lengths of time. Credit union pin with a gemstone is given to employees and directors starting at 5 years and in increments of 5 years thereafter. The gemstone inserts changes every 5 years. We are grateful to give these awards out because it's a reminder of the time, dedication, and loyalty these employees and directors have given to us. For the employee awards, as you can see on your screen, Sue Carmen has been with us for 15 years and was given a 15-year pin. The gemstone in her pin is an onyx. Pat Patterson and Cindy Clausen have been with us for 20 years and they were given 20-year pins. Their gemstones are emeralds. We are very fortunate to have these excellent people working for us. And for our director awards, we also are recognizing a director who's been with us for some time. Carrie Czar has been a director for 10 years, and she's also given a 10-year pin. The gemstone is a garnet in that one. With dedicated volunteerism and service to our credit union, we appreciate Carrie for all she has done to make our credit union a great place to be. Thank you to all of you for your service, and we appreciate you all very much.
Thank you, Lawrence, and congratulations, Susan, Pat, and Cindy, as well as Carrie for your dedicated service. Thank you very much. So door prize draw. So members who have registered and attended the 2020 Creston District Credit Union Virtual Annual General Meeting will be entered into a draw for door prizes of 500, 300, and 200. The winners will be announced on the Creston District Credit Union website and will also be contacted by phone tomorrow. So before I ask for a motion of adjournment, I would like to thank Darlene Wynn for putting together our virtual AGM program this evening and your patience with me. Thank you, Lawrence McCordoff, Kim Appleton, and all of our staff for your continued and ongoing dedication. The board of directors, I thank you as well for your very hard work. And a huge thank you to our faithful membership for yet another successful year. Next year, we will be celebrating our 70th anniversary. Have a good evening, and please stay safe and healthy.
I have a question from the floor.
Okay.
They want to know if they need to approve the nominating committee report.
My understanding that we don't, it's just a report. Is that correct?
Because there is no election.
Because there was no election this year.
Okay.
All right. So the motion is to approve the adjournment of the 2020 Creston and District Credit Union Annual General Meeting. This was moved by Don, Rob. This was moved by Don Tarrant and seconded by Rob Simpson. Please make your vote on this motion on the pull of your screen, and you will have 30 seconds to respond.
That's it. Everybody home, Jim.
100%?
You're gonna need.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.